Hi, David here again for concertblogger.com. We're here today with Chavonne and the Fuzz. Hi, welcome. Thanks for taking some time out for us.
Hey.
Chavonne, tell us a little bit about yourself. You were on The Voice.
Yes, I was on The Voice Season 3. I was Team CeeLo and Team Christina. And before that, I was a background singer on live tours. I started with Estelle, who's a British artist, and she won a bunch of Grammys for her song American Boy, and I sang on Lady Gaga's Monster Ball tour, which took me around the world to all the different arenas in the US and Europe.
Awesome, that's crazy, that's awesome. Being on tour with Gaga and being involved with such a big production as The Voice, do you feel that you're more prepared for success in the music industry, having seen, firsthand what it takes to get to the top?
Absolutely. I got my road legs, so now I know what it's like to be part of a big machine. Everything is scheduled to the minute, to the second, and call times are early, and for The Voice and for a big tour like Gaga's tour, you've got to keep track of all your wardrobe, all your gear. Everything is very professional and corporate, and so I definitely learned the business side from soup to nuts. So it taught me how to really navigate any situation. So when it comes to us, like hauling gear down a city block, like that's nothing compared to what I used to do.
How did the band come together?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
It was funny actually. Chavonne got done with The Voice, and we were going to be a backing band, so to speak. We recruited all these guys because we've been playing before in previous bands and stuff, and all of us have actually played in a cover band before with Chavonne before she went on to The Voice. And we got into a room and we just started playing, and we wrote the song Burnout, which is on our upcoming EP, and everything changed. And Chavonne said, it doesn't feel like it should be me and, well, even though it's Chavonne and the Fuzz, it shouldn't be me and then you guys, it should be all of us together. And it really was very organic. I mean, it was maybe a quick conversation just to kind of get it out there, but I mean, it was just perfect. I mean, I've never been in a situation, I think I can speak for all these guys in saying that we've never really been in a situation where we feel like it just comes quick. And we spend a lot of time editing each other, ourselves, the songs, but the music just comes out of us when we're together. So would you add anything?
Yeah, for me, I always secretly hoped that it would turn into a band. At first it was like, okay guys, like I'm done with The Voice, I got eliminated, I'm gonna start to make this record, and if you guys, want to add anything or you want to write something new, I mean, no big deal, we could just try. And they were all like, yeah, why not? And it was exactly like I had dreamed that it would be. The chemistry was instantaneous between all of us, and all the skeletons of songs that happened to make it onto the record that I wrote beforehand are so much better and so much more developed and so different, but all better because of what these boys have done. And they taught me things about writing songs that I didn't know before, and we're really a unit, we're a family, and it was the best happy accident ever.
Awesome. Most of your previous output has leaned towards the pop world, but this new EP seems a lot more in the rock sphere of things. Is that really who you are as a band?
Well, I'll start off answering that question, and then I'll let Mikey handle it because he's our MD pretty much in the band, so he kind of oversees everything musically, where the direction will go. But I've always been a rocker at heart. My favorite song was Wild Thing, which I first heard when I was about 4 or 5, and I just headbanged in my room to it, and it was always like a part of me. And we're all from Jersey, and Jersey's a big rock place. A lot of like the hair bands started there, and so rock is a place I was always kind of scared to go, but these guys helped me just commit to it and believe in it, and I didn't need to be afraid.
Yeah, when I had first met Chavonne, she was definitely more of like the pop soul vocalist in my mind. Then I got to hear her like really let loose in the cover band, the rock tunes, and like she said, I think she just needed the right push from the right musicians to go in that direction. I mean, I think we incorporate a lot in our songs, but rock is definitely the consistent undertone in all the music.
Also, rock is something that is becoming very ambiguous and very watered down in general. And there's this whole community of people, especially in Jersey and New York, people who still believe in rock and roll and want it to live. And we are some of the biggest supporters of that. And so the fact that we are all committed to resurrecting rock, I feel that that's a good place for us to be.
When we were in the studio, Chavonne, just to add, we would do a guitar track and no more. And more guitars, bigger guitars, bigger. So the rock thing, definitely. I mean, Chavonne made damn sure that this was gonna be a rock record. So that's kind of what came out.
How did you come up with the idea for a 2-vocalist arrangement?
Actually, a bunch of us, it was you and me. We used to be in a cover band together. Years ago, well, we kind of were on and off, and we did rock songs, we did alternative rock, and Chris and I were the singers. I was actually the background singer and the keyboard player.
Yeah, let me be clear, she was my background. No, I was just kidding.
But I had so much fun doing it, and I felt so free, and I felt just more like myself anytime that Chris and I were singing together. And so when I was setting up the solo record, I said to him, I'm like, you have to be part of this. I can't be myself on stage without you. And he was just like, no, I'm not doing it. And I was like, come on, like, this is important to me. It's important to my career. Like, I need that male counterpart. I need that gritty tone underneath my voice, because my voice is so bright, and I need your writing, and I need your just creative. He's a creative mastermind, so I needed to have him. I needed to have him in the band.
Yeah, that's kind of, and she was just like, sing more, and I'm like, I don't want to, especially because this is the first thing that Chavonne is doing after The Voice. People are going to wait to see, what she's going to come out with, and I really selfishly didn't, or maybe unselfish, I didn't want it to seem like I was like, hey, what about me, guys? And I wanted to make sure that it was, it was going to be the right thing, and that it was right for the song. Like Burnout, it's right, 2 vocals together makes sense. And some other songs, it's where it needs to be. And I think going forward, we might do some more writing. We have done some more writing with both of us singing, but she definitely didn't let me not do it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a choice.
I had
No.
Okay, so I have a question for every member of the band. I guess I probably should have done this first, but maybe everyone could introduce themselves. And the question would be, tell me about music in your home growing up, and did your parents expose you to music very early on? How did you know music was going to be your life? So why don't we start? Yeah.
Okay, well, my name is Chris. I play guitar. Growing up, my parents weren't really, I guess they didn't play music, so if anybody did, it was my grandmother who played piano, and she didn't force it on us as much as she would just play for us. And I was exposed to it at a very young age. I picked up a guitar when I was first 13, and I got into the music of the time, which at that time was Nirvana and Metallica-ish for me. And when my father played me Led Zeppelin 1, it blew my mind, and it just opened up the doors to everything else musically that I immersed myself in, and I knew that that's when I wanted to play music for a living.
Cool.
I'm Nick. I play keys, obviously. My musical upbringing started before I was born, because my parents were those parents that put headphones on mom's stomach when I was still in the womb, and they played everything from the Eagles to the Beatles to Led Zeppelin to AC/DC, everything. And then, of course, Sinatra. I had all of the roots. And then when I was about 4, we got a piano, grand piano, which is still in our house to this day. And I sat down at it, and it was kind of just like love at first sight. I sat down, it felt more natural than anything. And since then, I've been playing ever since.
I'm Chavonne, I'm the vocalist. I'm just like Nick, actually. When I was very, very young, I wanted to sing, I wanted to play instruments, I wanted to dance. I just like came out of the womb just like a maniac. I just wanted to perform. And I begged my parents, please, I want to play the piano. And they said, you can't play the piano until you learn to read. So I learned to read at age 2.5, and then I was like, all right, here we go, let's do this. So I started when I was 3, and I learned a bunch of other instruments. I was a total band and choir geek. I immersed myself, and I also, like Nick, I made sure that my parents showed me, all the classics, and from there it just spiraled. My whole life has been music since I can remember.
I'm Chris. I'm the other vocalist. I came home from, I listened to the music at the time growing up, and I came home, I had my Walkman on, I came home, and my mom was like, what is that you're listening to? And I think it was Informer by Snow, which is a Canadian rapper, terrible. And my mom was like, enough. Like, come in here, and she put on The Doors. And I thought I was gonna have to fight her over it and stuff, and then she said, every time you bring home garbage like that, I'm gonna show you real music. And after that, it didn't become such a punishment, or so to speak, because I kept asking her for more and more. And so it was, Herman's Hermits, and the Birds, and the Turtles, and the Doors, and all this really great stuff. And it started then, and I realized, I used to run around the house with a mop on my head singing Beatles songs to make my mom laugh, so that's actually true. But yeah, music was there, my mom made sure of it, and then it just became, it became what it is now, and keep playing, and have been doing it, I've been in bands since I was 17 years old, and, it's definitely life.
Cool.
I'm Mike, I'm the bass player, and my uncles growing up were musicians. My one uncle played like 8 different instruments, they were in bands, so there's sort of Latin style music influence from them. Then my aunt would play classical, and my one uncle was a huge metalhead, so my family definitely had a big part in all the music I listened to. I started playing piano when I was 8 for about like a year or so. Sort of gave up on it, and then I picked up bass when I was 12, and I've just been playing since. And my brother's a drummer, and we've always been in bands together. And I too was also in chorus from 6th grade to my senior year, and I actually played tuba in the marching band for the last 2 years of high school.
Awesome. Great. Thank you very much. Okay, so now tell me about the new record, Fire at Will. It was funded through a Kickstarter campaign. How did that come about?
Well, right after I had my last episode on The Voice, Christina sent me off the show with some very, just really amazing words of encouragement. She said, it didn't air, but she said, in response to what I had just performed, she was like, I just really don't think you need to be on the show anymore singing cover songs. I'm really interested in who you are as an artist, and I would love to see you out there going for it, and I would love to see what direction you take your sound in. So as your new coach, I want to set you free and let you just play and do what you were always meant to do. And as one of Christina's biggest fans ever, I pretty much died, like just hearing her encourage me and say that she believed in me and that she respected my craft. So after that, I was filled with all kinds of motivation from her, and I just tried to brainstorm, what should I do? Like, should I go look for a manager? Should I write more music? And then I saw that a lot of the contestants who had been eliminated from The Voice, they did Kickstarter campaigns to fan fund their debut albums or their next albums after The Voice, and I thought that was a really good idea, because then I wouldn't have to go knock on doors and take meetings with dudes in suits. I could go straight to the fans and see what it was that they wanted me to do. And luckily, with the help of these boys, because we did a bunch of shows promoting the Kickstarter, the goal was reached. I picked an arbitrary goal of $10,000. It was a lot less than what other contestants were choosing. Like, a lot of them wanted $30,000, $20,000. I was like, $10,000 is still a lot of money. I'm gonna go and play it safe. And we made our goal, and we went into the studio, and at that time, like after the Kickstarter campaign was over, we were already a band, and I went to all the backers and I said, listen guys, know your fans of me. I want you to understand that this is where I need to be musically. These are my friends, not just my bandmates. They're some of my best friends, and we've created something amazing. And I hope that you can all move forward with me on this, and I hope that you all understand that this is the way we're going to make the best music that we can. This is the way I'm going to put out with these wonderful individuals the best record that I could be a part of. And everyone was really cool. And so that's what happened.
Awesome. How do you feel like the music industry is changing as far as self-funding releases and it's becoming almost easier to be discovered?
I'm letting you answer that.
I don't really know. I think definitely the industry is definitely changing. Bands and artists definitely have to be more self-reliant in getting themselves known, and social media definitely plays into that much more than it ever did before, because when you think about it, social media is it's a relatively new thing, and people really can connect with their fans and get themselves out there through Facebook and Twitter and even Instagram, and that's definitely the most efficient way in the industry today to get yourself out there as an artist, I'd say.
Cool. When will the album be released?
So the album comes out September 17th, and we're going to have a release party show shortly after that in the city on the 25th of September at 8 o'clock at Sullivan Hall. We're excited because it's our first show since we've been in the studio, and we've been rehearsing our butts off, making this music just as good as you hear it on the record. We're definitely perfectionists, and everybody in the band sings. We all play multiple instruments, so our live show is something that we're really, really stoked about.
I play tambourine.
There's a mean tambourine.
I play the hair.
One last question. How about telling us something about yourself that most people would not know?
I guess we could all do one.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't want to start. I gotta think of
I'm not sure.
one.
You know, like your fans, and that would be like, wow, I didn't know that about them, or you're into some kind of sport or hobby or nicknames or.
My nickname's Creed, for what it's worth.
Hey, there you go. That's a start.
But nobody. I try to introduce myself as Chris, and these guys are like, "This is Creed." I'm like, okay.
We do it to him too, because there's two Chris's. His last name is Bookstaber, so we always call him Books.
There you go.
Simple nickname.
I have a Boston Terrier named Peter with 2 E's, and he has achondroplasia of his feet, so his feet are out like this. So he always looks like he's in first position.
Nick makes popcorn with Pop Rocks.
Popcorn with Pop Rocks.
Yeah, it's one of the best combinations in the world. You should try it.
Or no, I'm sorry, it's Sour Patch Kids sugar. It's watermelon and Sour
I do like
Patch.
Pop Rocks though. I should try that actually. Pop Rocks and popcorn.
We're gonna have people blowing up their kitchens now.
Right.
Isn't that how Mikey died?
I have a good one about you.
What's that?
Books is an amazing artist.
Oh.
Yes.
He doodles. He actually designed like a pirate style
Oh.
destroyed ship beer pong
Beer
table.
pong table, yeah. Years
Beer
ago.
pong table, awesome.
It was a venture that a buddy of mine got into. We were actually looking to sell them. And these things were serious. We were looking on the market, and nobody makes beer pong tables. And if they do, they're plastic or disposable, and they're junky. So we set out and made these indestructible beer pong tables.
They're amazing. They look like almost like a Sailor Jerry type of art. He's so sick.
That's awesome. That's great. Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
To all of you for taking the time out to sit down with us and have a little chat. Be sure to pick up Fire at Will, set for release on September 17th on Spotify and iTunes, and I'm sure in a million other places. And catch Chavonne and the Fuzz live at Sullivan Hall here in New York City on September 25th, or in a club near you this fall. For Concert Blogger, I'm David, and we'll see you next time.
Woo!